Welcome to the Celebrating Women podcast, co-hosted by Mandee Montana and Ashley Fisher, a podcast that celebrates women, their issues, their thoughts, their lives, conversations that celebrate their gifts, their talents, their courage. It's the Celebrating Women podcast. Presented by Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler, Texas. Hey, it's Mandee Montana. You know I love my friends at Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler, and they are helping us out with some very important daily skincare routine tips. I have the lead esthetician, Chelsea Everett, here with me. Chelsea, what are a few things that we can do daily to help take the best care of our skin?
General sunscreen that you wear, you do want to reapply it about every 2 to 4 hours. But just making sure that you're reapplying it is one of the most important things. It's not really a just one and done, go on about your day. Your skin secretes oils, like you're touching your face, you're sweating, it comes off after that short period of time. So it's super important to make sure that you're reapplying. Again, not only for preventative aging, but skin cancer is so crucial.
And of course, we can help our skin look and feel its best by coming in to see you at Hand & Stone here in Tyler. Make your appointment today. Stop by the spa in the Cumberland Shopping Center or make your appointment online at handandstonetyler.com. Welcome back to the Celebrating Women podcast. I'm Mandee Montana with a very special guest today, a friend, a coach. She is a media revenue strategist, Teri Werner. Teri, it is such a pleasure to have you on. You and I've done some coaching in the past, and I know you've got a book that you're developing, but I really want to get into who is Teri today and just the amazing woman that you are. So I'm so glad you're on.
Thank you so much. I always love talking to you and coaching you, and it's such a thrill to see all that you're up to these days. This is awesome.
Oh, thank you. Same. I so enjoyed coaching with you, and I'm glad that we've reconnected, and I'm excited about what you're currently doing as a media revenue strategist. Now, is that centered around all types of media, or do you focus on one particular thing?
It's really around all types of media. Anyone who feels like they have a message, they want to expand their audience, and they want to monetize their message. When we are people with a message burning in our soul, we must get it out, but getting it out to 150 people or not making any income at the same time really inhibits our capacity. So that's what I'm about, is helping those with a message, supporting them and getting it out there, and in the same way being able to monetize their message.
Yeah, so that they want to continue to spend their time on it, right?
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it takes money. It takes money to do these things. And not only that, when something is really in you, that's your message. You found your people and you found your message. It's so much the case that you're worthy of monetizing that message. So many people with a message that are going out now on every technology imaginable, whether it's Facebook Live, podcasts, TV shows, radio shows, and etc. So many of them are doing it at a great cost. A great benefit to the audience, but a great cost to themselves. Yes. And that's time they're exchanging to empower and equip the audience with very valuable information that they're not able to put into other areas of their life that would, bring benefit to them financially. So I've merged those two together. How can we support the message and how can we monetize the message?
Well, I'm excited to dig into that with you for lots of reasons. But first, I'd like to know how you got there, Teri. So tell me a little bit more about your background and how this came about.
Well, it's great. I have had a life of entrepreneurialism from the time I was 13. I was an entrepreneur. I was writing down goals. I was structuring finances. Back in the day, I worked as a car hop at that age. And my dad, about 14, 15, my dad would have me bring food home, like, hey, bring me a hamburger. Well, he didn't know I was keeping track of it. And so at the end of that year, I gave him a bill for $668 and said, you owe me for all the hamburgers I've brought you, because they took it on my pay. So we had to do some negotiating there. I love business. I feel like my anointing and my appointing into life is business. So I heard Zig Ziglar make a comment years ago. That statement opened my heart, changed my mind. And I created a vision around that statement and created strategies. And in 10 years, I thought, well, I want to be a stay-at-home wife, bake brownies and earn money from the home. And instead, thankfully, my father and I merged our passions. His was ministering and mine was design. And we created a company that went public, became a publicly traded entity on NASDAQ for about $10 million. And that was when I was 37, and life has happened since then. But I've taken those business skills into entrepreneurialism. We don't understand that business skills are very much a part of any business, and leadership skills are trained and learned, not just absorbed. You're not born with leadership, skills. You're born with traits possibly, but not skills. And so bringing that into various markets I've worked in, whether it be speaking and motivating and coaching, direct sales, or any kind of sales, has been really an important part of my life. And so I became very, very much in love with coaching, because if you can help people, really support them in creating a vision and then creating strategies to undergird the vision, you're going to really make a difference in lives. So that's my level of ministry, is helping people, supporting their lives. And that happens to be supporting their prosperity. How do you live your purpose out? Many times has to do with your wherewithal financially to do so. And so I do think those things go together hand in hand.
I do too. You hear the term starving artist, but
That's no joke, actually.
right, right. If you can't monetize the art, we have a problem. But it sounds like you were able to do that with what you were doing with your father, with ministry and design. So you have a design background. You clearly have vision with the design element, but also within business skills and leadership.
Right.
And so it's been interesting to me as I've gotten to know you, as your life has progressed and as you've gained new skills and also honed those skills into different areas, and been able to help a wide variety of people. So it sounds to me like you were providing like space, physical space through design, enhancing that for people. And then it sounds like you went into more of like a spiritual, mental, emotional space where you were supporting people through coaching.
Yes, so true. I joke about the fact, and it's actually not a joke, that I actually learned a lot of what I know about business and coaching through my clients. As I would be coaching clients around their vision, it was really very much a God thing with me, as certain techniques and skills became evident to me. As it supported them at a higher level, it also supported me. And I started really seeing how incredibly important vision is in our lives, the life we design. And also to be able to see that it's really difficult to move towards something you don't know is there, you don't see is happening. You may end up down the road, but the wrong road. And to really connect people. So in the visionary coaching, it's 4 steps: is create, connect, commit, and create collaborative strategies. Most people say about people, that aren't quite getting the grade as far as business, they're not quite making it, they're not succeeding, they get in a rut, they don't move forward, and etc. Many times people refer to that as, well, they just don't have the commitment. They're not committed yet. And I would disagree with that. You can be very committed to success and not have the principles, not have the skills, not understand how to move in that. And I really believe of those 4 components of creating success, whatever that looks like to an individual, is really the most important of that, other than creating a vision, is connecting to the vision. Connection is so much more important than commitment, because commitment will happen automatically when the connection is there. So I focus on creating the vision with the individual, helping them, supporting them in that, and connecting powerfully to the vision. Because once that connection is done, once that connection is complete, and you're really deeply, intrinsically connected with that vision and the outcomes that will create in your life, commitment is there. That's the easiest part. I think we have it backwards. And so I focus on connection. And then in business, my business skills have always began years ago in networking and how to connect with people. And, just realizing we carry destiny in our hands. We are a carrier stop looking for what people will give us and we start looking for what we're able to give them, all things come together in the right time, in the right space. And when I realized I was a carrier, that I had skills that enabled and supported the capacity and served others in living their vision, that became a very freeing moment for me, because I realized I walked into a room because what I gave, not because I was going to get.
I love that. Now, without going into like too much of the secret sauce of coaching, because I know that that's probably like a really time expansive situation. Can you talk a little bit more about what that connection piece is like, Teri, for someone who is really intrigued and saying,
Mhm.
okay, I feel like I'm committed time wise. I've time blocked, I have the commitment down. But what is that connection piece so that you
Mhm.
feel bound to it? What is
Mhm.
that like?
It's different for different people, but in moving someone or supporting someone to move forward into that, and let's say that they say their vision is travel. They want to
Mhm.
travel. When they reach a certain benchmark, they want to travel to Italy with their husband or whatever that might be. Um, it's up to us as leaders, number one, to know the skills to be able to step into that place with them, figuratively speaking, and enlarge their capacity to explore and to experience and achieve their vision. It's up to us as leaders to have that skill. It's not up to that person to be able to form a vision and connect and commit. That's up to us to walk them through that process. And so once I find out what their vision is, which I can help them explore if they don't know their vision, it starts becoming very crystallized. And then I walk them through a process of closing their eyes, envisioning a certain part about it. And I really start experiencing that vision with them. If I were there in their place, what would I want to be feeling? As I got off the plane, what's the aroma I want to smell? What do I want to feel? The sea, that aroma the sea has. It has a mixture of sea air and salt and almost floral.
Mhm.
Let's smell that smell together. Let's feel that. Let's experience it. It's about helping them and serving them in experiencing to a very deep level what they're going to experience when that takes place. And when they experience that, and I walk them through that, even though I've never been to Italy, even though I don't know what those aromas smell like, I can put myself into that place because I have the skill, and I train people this skill to do that very thing. And as I'm talking through it and they're feeling it deeper, it's up to me to expand their capacity. And that's so powerful. If you think of another person being able to speak into your life for a moment, who doesn't even maybe know you, but they're able to in some way serve you in expanding your capacity. This fabulous. And so they start feeling it and I start feeling it. I'm like, hey, I want to go to Italy. Um,
Yes.
I'm going to go to Italy, but what feeling? And even the sash around their neck and how it flows when that breeze. If you've been around the sea, there's nothing like
Mhm.
being around the sea and in different areas and these aromas and the breeze and how it feels when you almost feel a little bit of sand in the air and it
Mhm.
hits your face and what you want to experience, you know? And
Mhm.
as they go deeper and deeper in that place, then we do some breathing exercises that just brings it in. Sometimes you have to release all the stuff that happened yesterday and last month and this year and just give yourself internally the space to bring in something else into your inner experience. We change our inner environments and to bring peace and to bring that feeling of, you know what, I'm in the right place at the right time. And to breathe that in. Sometimes we have to do some breathing exercises to expel, the stress and to shake it off. And it's amazing
Mhm.
when I start feeling what they're feeling. I don't know what they're feeling, but I know what I'm feeling. And I can call it out at that moment. What are you feeling right now? And it's amazing how connected I get to them and how connected they get to their vision. And then it's like, what level of connection do you have? And just there's a little bit of a process there, not difficult to do, but took me years to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And then to see their commitment, and they send me mail, emails and etc., talking about, wow, my business has exploded 800% in 6 months and etc., 400%, whatever. I am able to live the life I've envisioned. And what greater gift to me to get the feedback, and to feel that experience with them.
Yeah. Well, as someone who's coached with you, I just completely agree. I mean, I had incredible experiences with you through that process and wonderful outcomes. Absolutely loved it. And it's not only the outcome that's special, Terry, but like those moments in connecting with you and connecting with vision, like the process of it, I found to be very special and uplifting as well. Like not only was I able to achieve the goals that I was setting forth because I was so connected to my vision at the time, but like the actual process of connecting with you and having those conversations and exploring where I wanted to go with you was powerful in the moment as well.
Oh, well, thank you. That means the world to
Yeah.
me, Mandy. You're an amazing, amazing woman, amazing professional. And,
Well, thank you.
you know, some people, there's just a word you feel about someone, and I
Hmm.
would say there's two words that I feel about you, and it's passionate excellence. I think you have a
Wow.
passion for excellence.
Thank you, Terry.
Well, thank
That's
you.
very high praise.
It's
I
been great because I enjoyed coaching you very much.
Thank you. Well, okay, so I know when you were coaching me through that process, you were also writing a book, and that
Mhm.
book is about to be published, right? Like you're nearly there.
Yes. In fact, I'm getting final edits as we speak. Even they came in a few minutes ago. We keep saying
Wow.
final edits and then we do it again, and that's the final. This is a final. I have one file that says it's a final, 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 and I mean it. Edits. My
Yes.
editor laughs back and forth. I'm working with an amazing editor, graphic artist, and really splendid human, just really precious. And it's been a wonderful experience because I really dreaded it. It's a book I wrote called Trainwreck to Triumph.
Hmm.
I wrote the first version of it in 2002, and I teach prayer journaling, and I
Hmm.
thought I was prayer journaling one day and thought I had prayer journaled, and I looked up and I'd written a book in 2.5 hours. It was about 80 pages of a lot of journal.
Wow.
Yeah, it was funny. So years later, I really didn't feel comfortable with getting the book out. I felt people had amazing change through it. It was amazing, the testimonials that happened all over the world. But I had learned so much in
Hmm.
that period of time, and I felt like I wanted to incorporate some coaching skills, some leadership skills, some communication skills in with the book. And so God kind of tricked me, I think. He said, I felt like he was really prompting me to go do a re-edit of the book. And I'm thinking, first book was 2.5 hours. I'm going to give this a long weekend, maybe Labor Day. And was I very arrogant and shocked at, I must have been extremely feeling good about myself that day, because it took me one solid year of 7 days a week, just about 12-hour days, just the downloads that came. And now that book is a full book it's a coaching journal, and it's filled with, coaching skills, coaching, increasing capacity, communications, etc. And so that book is also Trainwreck to Triumph, and it's really turning your derailments into destiny. I believe we
Mm.
all have destiny in us and in front of us, and most of us have a train wreck or two, and some derailments. Those slow ups in the road that we think are against us may actually be working for us to make sure we're right at that intersection with destiny, that place, that just the right people, the right place. When you found your people, when you found your place. And so that's what I felt like the book is about. And I'm excited. It's Trainwreck to Triumph. And it's going to be in a course, but right now it's going to be in a book, and there will be audios associated people can find that will walk them through the chapters. Because as I think you read the book way back a couple years ago when I was working
Yes.
on it, and you came to me. I'll never forget. You came one day in coaching and said, I'm doing this a chapter at a time. Okay, I'm not reading this book straight through because there's journaling with it, and there's some
Yes.
very deep introspection and spiritual principles, as well as laws, spiritual laws, and physical principles. And
It's heavy stuff. When you start journaling through that, you begin to uncover some things within yourself, like those derailments that you're speaking of. And sometimes, you're surprised by what comes out, and you need a minute or two to sit with those
mhm.
emotions and those thoughts or things that maybe you've suppressed over the years, or at least that's what I found because I was taking it very seriously.
Yes, you were, as usual, very seriously. You do endeavor to get the most out of everything, my
I
friend.
do.
Um, it's interesting. I wrote it in a way that if I were sitting with you, we would go to coach that chapter. I would be asking you, the journal ask you the questions I would be asking you.
Hmm.
So there's places it repeats a little bit information because at that point, you're going to be wanting to hear that again. There's something
Right.
else going to be coming up. So it's written in that format, thinking, wow, if I decide to retire, this book will replace me. Well, then I got so much busier than I've been probably in 20 years, became very, very busy in working with the media and bringing this book forward. So it's a perfect timing. I am blessed with every testimonial of the people from the first version, just incredible testimonials. You know, it's such a gift to be able to be used in whatever way I'm being used in lives, to be able to be the conduit of change. And, I don't really believe in actually the word change. I believe it's more exchange. We
Hmm.
decide what we're willing to give up and what we're willing to have. And somehow we have to decide to negotiate with ourselves sometimes is how much do I want to hold on everything I've been and what I feel I've clung to, and what am I willing to exchange for it? Called the law of exchange. And I
Hmm.
compare it, if I may for a moment just share, I compare it to a woman on the trapeze. I used to always want to go to a circus when I was young. And a girl on the trapeze, and you look at her and she's holding onto the rope with her left hand. That signifies past. And she's looking at the gold ring on her right, and that's where she really wants to go. She wants to lunge to that ring, hold onto that ring. She kind of keeps kind of pushing her rope a little bit, twirling a little bit close to it, but doesn't quite grab it.
Hmm.
There is a point in time where she is going to be able to hold on to nothing at all, to be able to release from the past and lunge to the future, to that golden ring. She's going to have to throw herself to that, and she can't hold on to the past to do that. That's the story, I think, of what truly does happen with exchange.
Hmm.
It's sometimes we will rip ourselves in two, holding on to both. And the word trapeze, as I was writing this, I really felt the insight around the word trapeze is that it really does, the ease of what we want to happen becomes the trap.
Yes.
So the word became very interesting to me.
Hmm.
I can literally see in my mind's eye that swing of her going towards that, moving towards that, wanting that. That can be a new life. It can be freedom. It can be a new job. It can be a new how we see ourselves. Uh,
Hmm.
all of that, whatever that is it important enough to let go of everything that feels familiar, to grab onto everything that we've dreamed of? And that
It's that
path
risk and reward, right?
is totally, totally. And I think it's so interesting because some things have a principle, some have a law. The law of
Hmm.
sowing and reaping. It's not a principle of sowing and reaping. It's not, oh, that's a good idea. No, it's an actual law of how it works. It
Yes.
works in the
Yes.
physical, it works in the spiritual. And so I love that analogy because we've all come to places in time when what we've been holding on is actually the trap,
Hmm.
and to evaluate that and find
Yes.
out, okay, what am I willing to do? And sometimes we need help from coaches and other people to have that path
Hmm.
or to have that support.
Do you find that the book is going to be, how do I want to say this? Do you find that the book is maybe going to be an introduction to coaching? I certainly wouldn't think it would replace coaching.
I don't think it will replace it, but I think for the people that may not trust yet, may not have the finances, or may
Hmm.
not have found the coach, it's going to open the door to that. And
Yes.
some of that can really bring around some self-coaching. And then it
Yes.
may take them deeper into, I want to take this deeper. One of the interesting things in the book is I've created a coaching format that I'm copywriting that's actually in process right now. But it basically just asks one question. And that one question has been so enlightening for people that change has happened over the years with clients just on that one question. And so
Okay.
if they can learn to ask one question and then let that bring in, and one of the questions, there's 2 or 3 different questions that can be the one question. One question I would bring up for your audience is, you know, it seems kind of cumbersome, but the question is, what is the person, place, or thing around which you called enough more? You sought for more, but called it enough. That you stopped looking for more and you were okay with enough, in other words. So, what is the person, place, or thing around which you called more enough? And after a while of being in survival and having challenges and etc., people are not looking for more. They're just looking for enough.
Hmm.
Their lid is pretty far down. And so when they define that in a group, I do this in a group setting or privately, when they define that particular thing, that was the thing around which different decisions began to be made, acquiescing to what is and not looking for what could be, lowering our sights to safety. Maybe that's safe. I don't have the relationship I want, but I have the relationship I have. So that's safe,
Right.
you know, and that kind of thing. And then there's different parts and levels to the coaching process that happen real quickly. Because once that's identified, then we have something to work with,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about how you're transitioning. I mean, I feel like you told me off mic that you're continuing coaching and, of course, going to support the book. But tell me about this transition you're making into being a media revenue strategist, because I
Oh,
feel
yes.
like you're saying, so many people have a message, but they
Mhm.
don't really know how to find their audience, and most of us don't know how to monetize the message at
Right.
all. So talk to me about that.
Absolutely. I first will say I really believe that much of our life ends up coming to us in categories, in seasons, if you will.
Hmm.
What I was so impassioned about in my 30s, you couldn't pay, was interior design. You wouldn't pay me. If I were building a house today, I would find the best designer in the world, hope she could read my mind and could work with me, would be patient long enough to work with me. But I don't want to do all that. And so
Right.
I've come to different seasons. So my business plan, I'll just say this, first of all, my business plan is and has been for a little while, but more so now than ever, is I ask basically 2 or 3 questions every morning. Lord, who am I called to and who is called to me? Bring those people.
Mm.
And the other question is, what can I do to support their destiny you've put into their very soul, that is that thing that they were born to do? They were just born to do it. You couldn't stop these people from doing it. I've asked those 3 questions. And then we create strategies. So I help them with the vision and the strategies. So more and more so over the last few years, I was involved in media a little bit 20 years ago. I worked with a Hall of Fame inductee and et cetera, and was on Daystar and different things. I always kind of was drawn to media, and I felt about 20 years ago that God dropped in my heart that for me to have a talk show,
Hmm.
because I went through a very, very tough situation in my life, and I thought at the time, man, I would crawl on broken glass to have an answer. And I had been raised where I had a lot, I not only didn't need, you didn't need your answer. You didn't even need a question. I'd give you your question and your answer. I was kind of,
Mm.
full of myself quite a bit and went through some very tough things. I always felt like I wanted to empower people. Well, then I've come to the time in my life, the last few years, that I've run into some products that I have felt were extremely valuable and needed to be out there. Well, how do you get those out there? And I had this calling in my life, I felt, to empower others with a voice. You get to an age and a stage in life. I'm not trying to sound like I'm ancient, but I'm certainly not 40 any longer. And you get to a place in your life where I became this place, at least, where some of my legacy, some of my destiny is in the empowerment of others. First, it
Mhm.
was coaching, and that still is there for me in the book. And now it is, how can I support those with a valuable message to expand their audience and to monetize their message? What can I do to be that conduit for them? Because I just ran into a lot of podcasters that are broke. I ran into a lot of TV stars. Oh, they're all that in a bag of chips until they turn that mic off, and they got like, can I give them a ride home or something, you know? And so I became more and more available to media and talk shows and et cetera, and realized that because they have the voice doesn't mean they have everything together, and doesn't mean that they have the money, the monetization to continue to do what is necessary to expand your audience. To see, a great message with 12 people is still a great message, kind of, but it's not going to impact to the level it could.
Mhm.
And so I felt very called to that. And I feel like my talents of what I've developed over the last decades came to play. And I just felt very strongly this was my time to make a difference. So I work with media people, podcasters, radio, TV, whatever, that have a message. First of all, I have to, if I'm going to work with them, I have to make sure that, to me, no offense to anybody, but that I prove their message. You
Yeah, it
know,
needs to be in alignment with your
yeah,
values too. Yes,
yeah,
that makes sense.
exactly. Yeah,
Sure.
if you're something that I feel is crazy, I'm not going to help you get more people. That's just, go. I'm sure there are other people who will, because I've seen
Yes.
TikTok, and clearly there are other people that can do some things. Um, so I want to, make sure it's a message of value, that it fulfills your vision. And then I just come together with that person. Sometimes I'm on their show. Sometimes I'm connecting them with guests. I'm connecting them with product that they will create reoccurring revenues from, to support them not only in what they're doing right now, but to be able to project down the road. Okay, this continues, blah, blah, blah. We're watching it. Then in 6 months, this is where I'll be. Because some of success is not having money in hand, it's knowing how to project your income, your
Yes.
revenues. And so I bring those business skills in place from the past, as well as just what I'm doing now, and work with very specific products that reach their audience and are something that will work with their audience. And that has been what has happened. And it's so amazing to be a part. It's like I get to be a part of all these different messages that I believe in. I get to be a part and meet people that I didn't know before that I thought were just amazing. I'm able to meet those people and be an important part of what they do, of what they're able to do, even to the point of expanding their vision. Maybe they're a podcaster, but they really see themselves on stage. They really would prefer to have their own network show or whatever. Um, I don't make any promises to anyone about their revenues or about what will happen. It has just been an incredible ride, and I'm loving it. I'm doing what I feel like every single part of my life prepared me for this moment. It's really interesting. I think purpose is tied to how you prepare, how God prepares you. Every moment is
Mm.
preparation for your purpose, and no moment is lost. And, we talk about faith, and, I'm very faith based, and I'm sure a lot of your audience is, and I know you are. Um, we talk about faith, you know, and sometimes we talk about, well, I have faith. I think the guideline on how you'll know if you have faith, you'll know in real terms in this world, is the action you take from the moment of promise, the moment of prayer, to the outcome from that What action are you taking? If you really believe you have a message, you'll be finding ways to get a message out.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
really believe it's the action we take from point of prayer to point of outcome. And how well are we keeping the promises we've made to ourselves?
Mm-hmm. That's a
And
big one, right? Like
yes,
a lot of people will keep promises to others, but not to themselves.
and we don't even think about it. We make these
Right.
promises earlier in our life sometimes, and we don't even think about it. This may be for someone, I feel someone is listening that this may be something important to hear. So I'm going to say it very carefully because I don't often speak like this when I'm on a particular interview. But I want to say that back, decades ago, I was going through a very, very, very rough spot. It really worked against what I intrinsically felt my identity to be, who I knew myself to be. It really even worked against that. And I remember waking up at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, whatever time. That's when God talks to me. I'm like, it'd be awesome if you could talk to me like 2 in the afternoon. But no, he talks to me 3 in the morning, which is okay. I'll take what I can get. Um, but like 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up from a dead sleep, not a dead sleep, but a sound sleep, let me say. I woke up. I wasn't awakened from the dead. I woke up and it was almost like I heard this voice. And I'm not trying to appear weirder than I need to appear on your show, but uh, is I almost heard this voice in my spirit say to me, don't forget who you are. Don't forget who you are. Things around you may look like you're not who you remember yourself to be. Remember who you are. And that's what I just want to speak to someone that may be listening. The life may not be looking like you thought it would look. Situations may not be turning around as fast as you thought. You may feel pain that doesn't seem like it's ever going to go away. I'm asking you to do us all a favor because the world needs your voice to remember who you are. Because we need your voice. We need your light. There are people that will not be whole unless you are whole, unless you speak your truth and it becomes what they can latch on to. So I'm asking you a favor. Remember who you are. Remember the promises you made yourself. And please fulfill those because we need you. In this world, like we've never needed light, we need light. Like we've never needed passionate voices of purpose, we need those. We need you to fulfill your vision. And I believe you will.
Teri, that was powerful. Wow. Is there anything else that you would like to share? I feel like that's a beautiful way to wrap up our
Right.
episode and our interview.
Mhm.
It's so powerful, but is there anything else that's on your heart today that you feel compelled to share?
Just if anyone would like to connect with me either on coaching or just to connect, maybe you're looking for media monetization or just whatever, even if you want a copy of a free ebook, I've got a free ebook called How to Help Your Friends Heal Through Their Train Wreck Without Jumping in with Them. And it's,
Perfect.
yeah, really. Yeah, thank you. It's about 28-page ebook. It's free if you want to go on my website and just ask for register for a free ebook. Or just connect with me. I'd love to hear from you. However I can impart into your life. And that is teriwerner.com, TeriWerner.com. The book is Trainwreck to Triumph. But the ebook you get is a different book, like I mentioned. I'm honored to have been on this experience with you, to be able to experience this time. And Mandee, I want to thank you for that.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure, Teri. I've been just blessed by this conversation. I've been blessed to know you, to be in relationship with you. I'm so grateful for our friendship and so much for your coaching
Me
too.
too.
It's just been an absolute pleasure. But thank you so much for your time today. And I just want to reiterate to reach out to Teri. It's teriwerner.com, TeriWerner.com. And I would imagine your book information is there as well, yes?
Yes, it's right there
Okay.
on that page. And there's a contact area, I believe, on the lower part of that page. You'll see my bio, and there's a way to contact me on that and the next page to just reach out and
Oh, I love
look
it.
forward. Yes. Thank you so much, Mandee.
Thank you, Teri. I hope you'll come back and talk more about the book in depth after you release it, and let us know where all we can find it and all of that here soon in the future.
I sure will. Thank you so much. God bless.
The Celebrating Women podcast wants to hear from you. Email us a voice message to celebratingwomenpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear your story or the story of an incredible woman you know. Become part of the conversation on social media. Facebook.com/celebratingwomenpodcast. On Instagram, search Celebrating Women Podcast. The Celebrating Women podcast has been presented by Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa in Tyler, Texas. Book your appointment today. Stop by the spa in Cumberland Shopping Center or online at handandstonetyler.com. The Celebrating Women podcast is created and hosted by Mandee Montana and Ashley Fisher. Support the show for as little as $3 per month at celebratingwomenpodcast.buzzsprout.com or visit our show notes. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to the Celebrating Women podcast.